Hey, what's up people, and welcome to Rauta, and this time we have an interesting band from Germany. I say interesting mostly because the genre here is quite difficult to picture to be one of those very understandable and working kind. This one is Thanateros with its sixth album on Fragile Wings, and the style described here is said to be kind of a gothic metal and folk metal combined. Now, I don't know about you guys, but it seems like this is indeed two different kinds bound together. And what is interesting is that the band is able to do this quite seamlessly. One that is not so much given with the given styles here. I mean, let's put it this way. German people, metalheads, doing gothic metal. I don't know about you, but to me it brings about, images like Notre Dame church and very gothic things into my mind. Just exactly how these guys look like. I mean, leather and denim and, eyeliner and hats, which are not exactly cowboy hats, but more like, wide rim hats, for, witch hunters and vampire hunters. Very gothic outlook. The kind of that you would, expect to see on Bram Stoker's Dracula or some other movie of that kind. Now, combine that in your head with folk metal music. That is violins and stuff. And that's where you're kind of like putting these together. I don't know about you, but definitely seems a little bit weird. Folky tunes, folky metal bands are often, kind of a uplifting and even more like a happy and positive side of music. And as such, it's hard to really figure out how they would, be combined in positive ways when music is more like dark and melancholic and, very gothic. Oh, weeping those dark tears and all. Now, as it is, this band has been able to pull it off, as weird as it may sound. Now, this is quite an old band, more than 20 years now, and there's 6 albums out. Personally, this is my first experience with the particular band, so can't really say how this compares to the previous one, so you just have to bear with me on that. Now, what is also interesting is that this band was very active the first 10 years, and that's when the first 4 albums came out. Went on hiatus for many years, only to come back in 2019 with Insomnia, and now this is the continuation of that, more or less. And this one is interesting also for a couple of reasons. First of all, these guys are very experienced. And that is something that you can hear throughout the album. I mean, whether we're talking about vocals or, instruments or production, everything is quite solid. There is no, like, what the hell moments or cringe parts or just something which could be considered as, like, shitty parts. Like, don't do it. But, and there is a lot of buts on this album. The thing here is, while this is totally listenable and to some degree enjoyable with its rather gothic things and even the folkier parts, nothing really here seems to stick. This is like the antithesis of being a catchy album. I must say I like the atmosphere. It's melancholic and it's dark. To be honest, it could be a lot darker too. This is more like a German version of My Dying Bride. Yes, there is a little bit of female vocals, but they are only session only, so in a couple of tracks or so. Mostly it's done with just, kind of a clean vocals, not high pitch or things like that, but the kind of a weeping, gothier vocals, done. And then you have these melodic riffs and parts which sound just very gothic metal. Kind of a doom metal-like, but not exactly. There's something that steers this one rather a little bit off from that territory. And then you have those folkier parts, which are mainly operated or done by violin. And maybe the way to say or describe this as a gothic folk metal is a little bit misleading, but that's the official wording on the labels part. And also, I think it's also describing this quite well, because if you remove the gothic parts, people would say it's kind of folky metal. And, well, Germans really seem to love that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a gothic folk metal thing, and having the best of both worlds in many ways, except for the catchiness and very interesting songwriting. So the role of this album, in my opinion anyway, is to fall back on the background and that's where it does its job just fine. I mean, it's kind of a like an ambient thing. I mean, if I was, hanging out in a bar, drinking beer, or whatever, and talking to my friends, I wouldn't mind this type of music at all, played on the background. But if I went to a, say, festival, and I was to see this band on stage, I don't think my interest would last very long. It's not like these guys can't play. It's not like the production is bad. It's not like there's anything wrong with the vocals and stuff like that, or the violin parts or whatever. But it's more like nothing really that interesting isn't happening. So it's kind of like partially successful, technically speaking. Can't really complain about anything. But the songs could be a lot more interesting, both in terms of chorus parts or interesting melodies or something that really kind of gets under your skin, So this doesn't really, evoke any kind of emotions in me. So it's easy to listen, but way too easy to just forget and move on about it. But if you like gothic metal, I don't think there's a reason why not to check it out. Maybe less so for typical folk metal people. And for the rest of you out there, I don't know. If you like doom metal a lot, then probably yes. You most likely will have some interest towards this one, despite whatever I'm saying about it. But for extreme metal fans, I think this is a straight pass. So, figure out for yourself, decide for yourself. You will find links in the description box. So give it a chance, and who knows, it's out on 25th of March, so already out by now that you're watching this. So check it out and like it or not. Bye.